golfj.com.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome to the Golf J podcast on golfj.com. I'm Jim Sinacropi alongside Rhett Taccone here inside the Finger Lakes 1.tv studios in Seneca Falls, New York on Monday, April 25th, 2016, where tonight we'll be talking about Charley Hoffman's win at the Valero Texas Open, speculation of Tiger Woods' return, the PGA Tour Young Guns on vacation in the Bahamas.
They had a good time.
And a special deal from Vice Golf, all that and more, including a chance to win a Golf J hat by answering this week's trivia question. And Rhett, welcome back in studio tonight. We played some golf this week. That was good.
How you doing, Jim?
We played together. We both played Wednesday, but not together.
Yeah.
We played then Friday together, and then I played Sunday.
Right.
And it's just great to get out there in April in upstate New York and play some golf.
Yeah, it's those. We're still bonus rounds right now. The courses are just coming into shape. Grass getting green, and it's getting closer to time to play a little more regularly. But yeah, it's been nice to be able to get out there. You got your game golf this week?
I did.
Nice.
I got my game golf. I installed it. I took pictures and videos of the whole process that we're going to be compiling into a review in about a month. We want to give this thing a real run through.
Gotta get some rounds in.
You've got a couple rounds in with it. I've got one in. And what I found initially, again, for those of you that don't know, Game Golf, the GPS shot tracker app, you wear this thing on your belt right there, and you put little tags into the end of your club, and it tracks every shot you take.
I was surprised. I thought the tags might feel a little off on your club when you once you put them in the butt of your club, and whether it was the weight or if just in the way. But they don't weigh anything really, and they don't get in the way. So that was reassuring when I played a couple rounds with them. Yeah,
I was a little more worried about just the process of having to tag each shot, and that was not an issue at all.
No.
What I did find though is that you're going to have to go in after your round and edit it on the computer.
Yeah.
Because there are some minor inconsistencies. You'll have to manually add penalty shots if you had any, but especially around the greens, you'll want to tweak it a little bit. So hopefully you have a decent memory.
Right, where the pins were.
Yep. And I don't have a problem with that because it's kind of cool that, later that night you're at home, kids are in bed.
Right.
You fire up your round and kind of go through it.
Go through your every shot. And I hit that one out of bounds. Damn. Fix that. Get that penalty shot in there.
But we're going to have, like I said, a full review coming up, probably about a month. I want to get at least a dozen rounds in there before we give it an official golfj.com review.
Right.
But we'll keep you updated every week on how it's going along the way because it's one of the most exciting new kind of verticals, I guess, in the golf industry or the golf equipment industry.
I'm looking forward to this weekend putting in some rounds in a different course. I got 3 courses I'm going to play this week. So
you're going out west for Golf J.
Yeah, I'm going to California. Gonna go possibly hang out a little bit with the Link Soul guys. Play Goat Hill, the remodel that John Ashworth did out there. I'm hoping to play that. Going to play in a tournament at La Costa. And
not bad.
Play the Bridges and Rancho Santa Fe Country Club. So got a good weekend planned out.
It's unbelievable. And of course you can follow our Twitter feed at the Golf J.
No doubt.
And there'll be some good stuff there, and we'll compile it into features coming up for upcoming episodes of the podcast and on the website. So, but for now, big week on the PGA Tour as it moves past the Masters into the regular part of the tour, and it was Charley Hoffman getting the win, his 4th career PGA Tour win. But he's been coming so close. Actually, he hasn't been coming close. He set himself up for the final round, leading after 36, leading after 54, within a couple shots of the lead, and just consistently so far this year has just fallen apart in the final round.
Last few holes here and there, just hasn't closed the deal. But we're kind of in that weird time on the PGA Tour when the Masters is over, and there's so much build up to that, and so much excitement. And there's some bigger tournaments before that. You got a few weeks before you get to the TPC and the Players, but there's been no lack of drama. The tournaments have been great, so it's been awesome to still watch these things. You're getting all these new winners and guys that have only won a few times, but the coming down the last hole and guys coming from behind to win. It's been great.
Yeah, and for me, I like watching golf throughout the winter. I like all the February tournaments and stuff. But after the Masters, it's kind of like opening. Masters is kind of like opening day, especially since they moved the Players Championship
to May.
Yeah, to May instead of the week before the Masters.
Right.
And so, I like the Valero Texas. I think that Valero Texas Open is one of probably the last tournaments between now and the PGA Championship that doesn't feel like a pretty big tournament.
Right.
I mean, the Zurich down in New Orleans seems to be a little bit, the purse is a little bigger, but it just seems to be a little bit more a prestigious event.
Yep.
And straight through the summer now, they're all, except for those tournaments that are conflicting with the British Open or the U.S. Open, the smaller tour events.
Yes, the CBS is cranks their coverage into full swing now. So, when their coverage is ready to roll and their Jim Nance is out there every week and you got them covering all the tournaments, it's a good time of year. You're in the full swing of the season.
So Hoffman comes up with a clutch 9-foot birdie putt to avoid the playoff with Patrick Reed and clinches the Valero Texas Open win.
Yeah.
And what that was pretty clutch putt, right?
Great putt. I mean, he just nailed that. And that wasn't straight in, but it was a little bit of a break to it. It had a little danger on it. So for him to just drill that was very good for him.
And Patrick Reed kept it exciting. He missed some putts on the way in, almost chipped in here. You see it on your screen for Eagle that just came a few inches short, but definitely put the pressure on Hoffman to have to get up and down out of the bunker. And every shot counts on the PGA Tour. There's been 24 tour events so far this season, 19 decided by one shot or in a playoff. So 19 to 24 events decided in a playoff or by one shot. I mean, that's incredible. Well, there hasn't been any runaways.
Hoffman shoots 69, Reed shoots 69, Collins another 69, Chappell shoots 68. These guys put it into full swing, and they really went low on the back nine Sunday. Pillar, unfortunately, I was hoping for him. That would have been a good story if he could have pulled off the win.
Yeah, he's on my team. He's on one of my fantasy golf teams, and I'm a fan. He really has been underachieving. I kind of look at him and Patton Kaziri. They were 1-2 on the web.com last year, and now they're both on the PGA, and Kazire,
whatever.
He's been outplaying Pillar quite pretty consistently. So this was one of the first times that Pillar's actually been up, where you've seen him on a Sunday telecast.
Yeah, but so it was good to see that. Horschel is doing well, and unfortunately for Ricky Barnes, he was one of the few guys that didn't go low. He went backwards and shot a 74, and he's about 0 for 200 and something. He can't close the deal. Feel bad for the guy.
Yeah, he's been
not too bad, but
he's been around for a while.
Yes, he has.
Just not really breaking through. So Hoffman moves from 92 to 18 in the FedEx Cup standings with his victory, and Titleist guy, Titleist 915 D4 9.5 degree driver, Titleist 3-wood, Titleist hybrid, Titleist 716 MB irons, Vokey wedges at 46 degrees, 50 degrees, 56 and 58 degrees, and of course a Scotty Cameron Golo 5 prototype putter playing the Titleist Pro V1. So right across the line you got your Titleist.
He's definitely a Titleist guy.
And poor Patrick Reed, I shouldn't say poor Patrick Reed.
None of these guys, we shouldn't feel too bad.
He leads the PGA Tour with 8 top 10s this season, 2 more than anyone else, ranks 8th in the FedEx Cup, making him the second highest player in the FedEx Cup standings without a win. Yeah. Can you name the guy ahead of him without looking at the script where it's written? Kevin Na, 7th.
There you go.
So
he was another one in the fall. He had 2 weeks in a row. He should have closed the deal and just didn't get it done. A couple of the younger guys that got first-time wins at Kevin's expense, I think. Yeah. So Kevin's a good player as well, though.
But Patrick Reed's been frustrating a little bit for anybody who plays fantasy golf and has been picking him. He proclaimed himself to be one of the big four.
Yeah.
About 2 years ago maybe now, and since then he hasn't really done anything great.
To make
8 top 10s is phenomenal.
Yes.
One of the best golfers in the world without a doubt. But if you want to be one of the big whatever. Got to win
now.
championships and win tournaments.
He's a cut machine. He's great for fantasy golf, but he needs to close the deal on one of these as well. Be considered and get all the public. Those guys in
a major.
Spring.
Yeah, major.
Well, yeah, that definitely would elevate him.
So next week, the tour heads to the Zurich Classic in New Orleans. We'll give you our fantasy picks a little bit later in the show, but it was spring break time for the PGA Tour Young Guns. Jordan Spieth, Ricky Fowler, and Justin Thomas and Smiley Kaufman headed down to the Bahamas, took a week off, and decided to play some shirtless golf.
Yeah, they did a lot of stuff.
They must have closed the course for him.
I would imagine. They had the whole place to themselves. It sure looked like that based on the pictures, but I can't imagine Baker's Bay, pretty prestigious course, letting those guys play like that with everybody else being out there. Although this time of year might not be anybody out there. Who knows? Pretty exclusive spot.
So, my take on this is I just think it's kind of weird in the fact that these guys are always in the spotlight. Yeah. They're always on Twitter. They're doing a lot of stuff on Twitter, and you're going on vacation, get away from it all. But they were bringing the spotlight on them every 5 seconds. New tweets and
they blew it all up.
Instagram posts and Snapchats.
Some of it's cool. I mean, great. They're telling us they're going on vacation. I was like, I don't know. I was kind of mixed emotions about the whole thing.
A little bit
over the top.
Yeah, and a little bit too. It was strange. And hey, nothing better than being 23 years old and a millionaire and down in the Bahamas with your buddies. But when I was that age, I might not have had $1 million, but I was probably doing things a lot more stupid than that.
We all have had our fun, no doubt, right?
But I just would kind of think these guys might want to take a vacation away from the spotlight,
right?
But instead, they were kind of like attention whores almost, where they're like they just can't get enough of it.
No, it was every 2 minutes they were tweeting something out, another picture, and also too, obviously they more than likely had a few drinks, and that kind of
there's no doubt.
Kind of showed through on some of these pictures. It was like what kind of example are you setting for some of the younger golf fans that might be looking at that.
And again, I agree. Fine to go down there, drink, you're on vacation, have fun. But when you start, putting a spotlight on it, these guys are role models.
Absolutely.
For a lot of young golfers. And
I don't know if the old chairman at Augusta National, is probably looking at this and shaking his head amongst many other people too. By the end of it, I had enough. It was cool to see the first few pictures from the beginning.
Oh, they're on vacation. Look, they're playing golf without shirts on. Next thing you know, the best thing that came out of it, though, I think, was Jordan Spieth's impersonation of David Faraday Jr. That was spot on.
Yes, he did do a good job.
I think that was on Vine or maybe Snapchat where they did that, but you can find it pretty easily. Just search Jordan Spieth's Faraday impression.
It kind of it almost was like, and I don't think they did it intentionally for that, but it almost took away from some of the tournament this past weekend because there was so much coverage of those those four guys doing all what they were doing. But I hope they got it out of their system, and now they're going to get back to golf and play some serious golf. If they don't do well in the next few weeks, people are going to start getting on them about it, that's for sure. But like you said, vacation is fine, but you just don't bring so much attention to yourself.
Right, absolutely. So speaking of getting back to playing golf, I don't know if you caught the news, but Tiger Woods registered for the U.S. Open yesterday or today.
Yep.
Now, you got to register.
Right. Doesn't
mean you're going to play, right?
Correct.
But there's been a lot of talk about Tiger maybe coming back for the Wells Fargo Championship, which is coming up, I think, second weekend of May.
Yeah, I think it's 2 or 3 weeks away.
And so
it's before the Players.
And again, that's just a rumor too. His agent Mark Steinberg's actually denied reports that he's definitely playing in the Wells Fargo Championship. Woods registered to compete in this year's U.S. Open at Oakmont.
Right.
According to Golf Week, Woods filed on April 4th for the tournament, which runs June 16th through 19th. And in recent weeks, speculation has been ramped up regarding Woods' return. Tim Rosefort mentioned the possibility of Tiger playing at Quail Hollow on May 5th through 8th. That would be the Wells Fargo.
So that's 2 weeks.
On Mother's Day weekend.
Yep.
And another tournament that makes sense for Tiger is the Memorial. He's won there 5 times. So if he is looking at some tournaments to get in to prepare for the U.S. Open, the Memorial seems to make a lot of sense too. So, but nothing officially has been
You would think, though, if he's going to play Wells Fargo, would he or wouldn't he play the next week at the Players? Obviously, Players is a much higher level, but he's won it there a couple times, and he's played well there before. So you would think that's if he's going to play Wells Fargo, he would definitely play the Players. But I don't know if he would jump. Would you think he'd jump back in at the Players?
No,
I don't think so either. I think if
too strong a field.
Yeah, so I think,
not that the Memorial's not a strong field.
No, but that'd be my guess. I think we're still a little premature in him jumping back into tournament golf.
And when he does, how he performs out the gate could be, if he comes out, misses the cut, shoots an 82.
Yeah.
Where's he going?
Right.
Is he going to have another injury and we're going to see him gone for another year? Because that's what's happened when he's been coming back and then embarrassing himself. Really, he had the chip yips for a while, and then basically walked off the course a couple times with injuries in the middle of a round.
Right. His last tournament, he played well except for the one round, but then that was the last we saw of him. I haven't heard from him since, but hopefully, golf's better when he's doing well and part of the deal. So hopefully, by the Memorial, he's back in action. We'd love to see him, at the U.S. Open as well.
Well, he hasn't played on tour since the Wyndham Championship back in August, so it hasn't been that long.
No.
It seems like it's been years, but, he didn't qualify for the FedEx Cup playoffs, otherwise he would have played right through.
Right.
So it's only been August, and again, we just talked about off the top how the Masters is kind of the unofficial start of the real season.
Right.
So he hasn't missed as much golf as you might think. And, of course, the last time the Open was held at Oakmont was 2007, and Tiger Woods finished one shot behind Angel Cabrera. One of the few times that Tiger got outdueled in the in the final round of a major.
Yeah.
So, which brings us to this week's GolfJ.com trivia question, and mentioned that. Actually. Get your Twitter accounts ready. Tweet your answer to @thegolfj, @thegolfj on Twitter. First person to tweet us wins a GolfJ.com golf hat. Not unlike the one that my partner is displaying for you right now. And they come in all sorts of colors and color combinations and designs. And you can win one if you are the first to tweet us the answer to this week's question. Charley Hoffman, one of the 5 players to finish in the top 70 of the FedEx Cup every season since its inception in 2007. Name the other 4. Just give us the last names, and first one to appear in our stream on Twitter will win the hat, and we'll reach out to you via direct message, get your address. So Charley Hoffman, one of the top 5 to finish in the top 70 of the FedEx Cup every season since 2007. Name the other 4. And we'll give you the answer at the end of the show. But by then it'll be too late to win the hat. So
get on it.
Hey, we love to tell you about some great deals. We know that most of you fine folks listening to this show are golfers. And so whenever we get a chance to share a deal out there, our new products, and we can offer you special codes and discounts, we're happy to do it. And this week, the deal comes from our friends over at Vice Golf in Germany.
Yep.
Anybody that listens to this show know I play Vice golf balls. I switched from Titleist Pro Vs, which I've used for several years, to Vice Golf Pro Pluses, which are less than half the cost.
Very similar.
And I haven't noticed a difference in the play on the course, except for the fact that the Vice balls, after a round, lose their sharpness of white, the white color.
I gotcha.
The integrity's fine. They don't cut easier. They spin. They go just as far. I mean, I love them. They're great golf balls. And so if you go to vicegolf.com right now, buy 5 dozen, you get a 6th
That's the key.
free.
You get a whole dozen free.
Right.
That's
so
a big deal.
And the 5 dozen are going to cost you about $115, $120?
Like $35 a dozen?
A little less than that for the Pro Plus, unless you get it logoed, which isn't also an option. So you can get these logoed for still much less than Pro Vs.
Right.
Or any name brand ball, not to knock on the Pro Vs, TaylorMade, they're all priced about the same.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, these Vice balls are about the same quality as all of them at less than half the price. So this time of year, stock up right now. One credit card transaction at vicegolf.com. Get that free dozen. You'll have 6 dozen balls heading into the season. Use a new golf ball every single time you tee it up.
Couldn't be any easier for you.
So again, that's vicegolf.com. The company's in Germany, but your order will ship from the U.S.
Right.
So, time for the fantasy golf primer for the week. This week, we're heading down to New Orleans for the Zurich Classic at the TPC Louisiana in Avondale, Louisiana. $7 million purse. Last year, it was Justin Rose outlasting Cameron Tringali for the title. And you can watch it on Golf Channel, 11:30 to 2:30 daily. Wait a second here. Who's got it on the weekend?
I think CBS.
Yeah, I think it's still CBS. Yeah.
CBS usually grabs a lot of these ones in between the players.
So Golf Channel's giving you Thursday, Friday coverage, and then on the weekend they do the pre-pro coverage, hand it over to CBS.
Yeah.
So decent field.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
Ricky Fowler's coming back from the Bahamas to play in it.
See what kind of shape he's in. Jason Day will be back. Justin Rose, obviously. Charley Hoffman, this week's winner. It is a pretty strong field. This tournament's pretty solid. Been around a long time. Always gets a pretty good field. It's kind of adjusted in the schedule like most of them have. I remember it. I thought it used to be a little bit before the Masters, a few weeks before the Masters. Back before they made the players, they moved the players to May. So. It's got a little notoriety and usually has a pretty good field in it. So, who are you thinking?
Well, when Jason Day's in the event, I'm picking him. That's going to be a theme probably throughout the year, despite the physical problems and the vertigo in the back and all this stuff. I think he's clearly the most complete player on tour. He has the distance that Jordan Spieth doesn't have.
Right.
And while he's not quite as good a putter as Spieth is, he certainly
holds his own.
Yeah, I mean,
definitely not.
So if Jason Day's in the tournament, I'm picking him all year long. I'm picking Jason Day.
More than likely, you're going to have one out of every 3 or 4 tournaments. There's going to be a good chance you're going to get a winner then.
Yeah.
Doing that, and I don't blame you for that. I'm going to go with. I'm not going to pick Jason Day though. I think he's gearing up for some bigger and better things, but. I'm going to go with Billy Horschel. He's about due for a win. Like you said, he won this tournament in 2013. He's got 3 top 5s in the last 4 tournaments. He shot a 69 this past weekend on Sunday, and has been playing really well. I'm looking for him to be the first player to break through and win a tournament with those PXG irons. So,
which nobody's been playing good with those things.
Well, he has, but not exactly everybody else, though. You're right. But so I'm waiting to see. Those guys swear by those things, so I'm waiting to see who's going to get the first win. And I think it's going to be Billy Horschel.
Yeah, that's not a bad pick. Coming in at 16 to 1 odds.
Yep.
Jason Day 5 to 1 odds. Now, what about a solid play this week?
I'm going to go with Chris Kirk. He's playing well. He's had top 25s in the last 4 out of 5 tournaments, and he's been very consistent on tour. And I like him to potentially break through this week. What about you?
I'm going with Jason Duffner. 33 to 1 odds puts him in the middle of the field, so I'm comfortable picking him as a solid play. He won the tournament in 2012 on the same course. And while it seemed about a year ago this time that his career was kind of falling apart, he's fought his way back to be in contention in a lot of tournaments, making lots of cuts. And so I think it might be a good week for Duffner to finally break through.
I mean, he had a lot going on last year off the golf course, so I think that definitely derailed him a little bit. So I think you got a good play there. That's not a bad move. He's been doing much better.
And as far as sleepers go,
I don't like the true sleepers.
Well, I'm not going too deep this week. I'm going, Danny Lee at 50 to 1 odds is a pretty good bet, but I'm not calling him a sleeper. I'm going with Jamie Lovemark, who's a borderline sleeper at 60 to 1. And again, you get a hunch that this might be his week.
Yeah, I'm going to go with I don't really call him a dark horse either. He's been playing well, but he is 50-1. I'm going to go with Patton Kizzire. I like how he's been playing. He's got 5 top 15s and his last handful of tournaments, and he could be one of these guys that breaks through and gets his first win.
Probably not happy that Pillar did so well this week because I've developed this mental rivalry for those two that probably doesn't exist. Both coming off the web.com last year.
Probably really good buddies.
Yeah. So
there you have it.
Yeah, Zurich. Let's bring it on. Another tournament starts Thursday.
Yep. Let's do it.
And some big news coming down the pipe this afternoon.
Pretty
shocking. Matter of fact, you didn't even hear about it when you got in until you saw our script here.
You caught me off guard on that one.
Longtime ESPN announcer Mike Tirico leaving the network. ABC owns ESPN, so ESPN ABC. And he's going to NBC, according to the Sports Business Journal. It's unclear how Tirico will fit into NBC's golf coverage. Right now, it includes the British Open after the network acquired the rights, coincidentally enough, from ESPN, so it won't seem that weird to see Tirico,
because he's been a fixture for quite a while.
Matter of fact, Tirico's worked the previous 19 Opens for ESPN. Can you believe that? 19?
Can't believe he's been there that long.
Yeah, I mean, that's
a huge
2 decades.
move. I mean, that's got to be a big money move because he is the guy at ESPN. I mean, there's Berman and Tirico is probably...
As far as like your Jim Nance / Bob Costas type of guy.
Yeah, not your studio guy, but your,
right.
The kind of the face of the franchise, so to speak. He's at every big event, and he does a lot of their radio. He did a lot of their radio stuff too, at a lot of the big events. So, be interested to see what's all. There's got to be some Olympic tie in there, I'm sure. I mean, Costas is the main guy, but there's got to be somehow he's a co-anchor or the number 2 at the Olympics.
Yeah.
Their golf coverage, obviously, with Golf Channel. So I'm sure he's going to be golf heavy. There'll be a lot of tie-ins with Golf Channel there, I would imagine. But they don't have a ton of other stuff that, they do
hockey.
They do hockey. They have the Premier League soccer. I don't know. I mean, he hasn't done much of that stuff. I mean, they usually use the English broadcasters for that. So
they do have their own sports network, cable channel at
Right.
NBC. I don't know if he would figure into those plans, but of course, I think the big one is Thursday Night Football. They're planning on him anchoring that Thursday Night Football telecast.
Well, that makes sense too, then. So that's probably going to be the headliner for him is the football. Makes a lot of sense.
So interesting because Golf Digest did a recent survey where they were looking for the game's most popular announcer, and Jim Nance finished first and Mike Tirico finished second.
Right.
So as far as golf goes, I think it's a huge loss for ABC ESPN.
Yeah, and especially now because he was part of the Masters coverage with ESPN in recent years and Thursday,
Friday.
Now, no Tirico at the Masters. NBC's totally locked out of that, so that'll be a bummer. But they'll figure out ways to get him much exposure, I'm sure.
Another interesting thing on the golf side is that, NBC has a long-time play-by-play guy of their own, Dan Hicks, probably one of the lesser-known names by name.
Right. Johnny overshadows him a little bit.
But those two have been together for 17 consecutive years in the booth on 18.
Yeah, and you get used to hearing those voices, You don't necessarily always know who Dan Hicks is, but you know that voice, and that's the guy that works with Johnny Miller. So it'll be interesting to see if Tirico goes and does all of their events, or how that'll work. Because Johnny doesn't do all their events either. He's.
It'll be interesting to see what Johnny Miller thinks about that. If they say, "Hey, guess what? Where Dan Hicks is going to be bumped down to number 2, and you're going to be working with Mike Tirico. What's that dynamic like?"
Yeah.
I mean, Tirico's a pro; he can work with anybody. But I can see Johnny Miller just not being happy with that. I mean, I think him and Dan Hicks probably have some pretty deep friendship after 17 years.
You would think so. And Johnny has quite a few opinions too. So. He'll definitely let his mind be known, but I'm sure it'll all work out well. And Tirico, he's a pro, he's a class guy,
Syracuse grad
guy, absolutely. So we've been following him since he was doing the Coach Boeheim show, way back when he was still a local guy.
Weekend anchor at WTVH5.
Yeah. So good luck to him. He'll do a great job, and whatever he's doing, we'll enjoy watching him.
So we got some stuff coming up this week. Or in the upcoming weeks on golfj.com that will be of interest to our listeners. First and foremost, coming up actually tomorrow we're going to interview one of the co-founders of Cricket
Golf. Yeah, Cricket Shirts. Yep. Yeah, Billy Noshman is going to come on with us. He's a great guy and one of the co-founders of Cricket Shirts. A great product that they put out there, kind of an old school feel golf shirts, but with a new modern feel and cut to them. So it'd be interesting to talk to him to see how they started out. And the guys from New York, they live in Texas now, but developed this company within the last few years and have really done a good job with it. So it's gonna be exciting to talk to him and get a little more background from them on what they got going on down there. And
we'll go ahead and post that interview as a standalone feature, but then next Monday night you can hear the bulk of that interview on this podcast. So,
absolutely.
And we mentioned you're going on vacation. What do you think we're going to pull out of that in terms of content and interviews for upcoming episodes or for the website?
Well, I know I'm hoping to see and meet up with Garen Reif, who Reif putters, but now he's with he came up with his own new product, Even Roll putters, which are pretty close to being ready for production and sale. I'm going to go out and see his studio and talk to him a little bit, and then we're going to get him on an interview as well. So that'll be exciting to see what he's got going on. I saw a little bit of the product at the PGA show. The putters look great. Got a big, nice, sweet face on them, and they're a great product. So I'm looking forward to talking to him and seeing what he has to have going on.
You think you're going to be doing any course reviews, La Costa or Goat Hill review?
I'd like to. Yeah, I think so. It'll be interesting to see how Goat Hill looks now that they redone it. It's quite a bit of effort and time that John Ashworth put a lot of his own money into that, and it'd be interesting to see how it turned out. I hear it's really great. It's it's a public course out in San Diego in Oceanside, California, and it just looks like it's a fantastic place. It's a short course, and it'll be fun to play. I'm hoping to play with the Link Soul guys when we get out there.
And tag it all with Game Golf, so I can follow you.
Yep, you'll know what I'm doing
back here in New York State as you're playing.
Good, bad, for better or worse, you're going to know what I'm doing now that we have these Game Golf things.
Yeah, anybody that has Game Golf can look us up there.
Yeah.
What do you do? Look up by username? Or
yeah, I think so.
My username's the J Nice, TheJnice.
I just went with Rhett Taccone, so I went a little vanilla on that one.
For a username?
I think so.
Because my name is Jim Sinacropi's in there as the name, but the username is the J Nice.
I think you can look it up by your name too.
Sure.
So. But that'll be interesting. I found myself looking for your score on Sunday if you're around.
Yeah, and I had some issues out there in what I was told when we interviewed CEO John McGuire at Game Golf a couple weeks ago. He said if there are some issues with your phone connectivity or whatever, you can just plug it in later and download the whole run, which I was able to do. So I was glad to see that.
Yeah.
And I played Pine Lakes down in Myrtle Beach 2 weeks ago. I've been promising you a review of that course. That's coming. Okay. I just got to find some time to carve that out. I got all the pictures and scorecard and everything. So that's coming out too. So we got a lot of stuff coming up on golfj.com. But first, we got to get to the answer to our weekly trivia challenge. The question was...
Some big names in this answer.
Yeah, Charley Hoffman won last week. One of the 5 guys to finish in the top 70 of the FedEx Cup every season since 2007 when the FedEx Cup started. Name the other 4, and they are Hunter Mahan, Jim Furyk, Phil Mickelson, and Bubba Watson. And part of Hunter Mahan's a bit surprising, right?
Because he climbed up the numbers last year. He just barely, and he was one of the ones they were talking about because I think he jumped in one of the second or third tournament to get to that number to make that distinction. So, yeah, he's a little bit surprising, but he's a consistent player. I mean, when he's rolling, he's doing well. He doesn't win a lot, but he's definitely plays consistent. Hits it right down the middle.
Just never. I guess he's a 25th place all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not many top 5s, not many wins, not many major wins. A guy who's been a little disappointing considering that if you go back, let's say 10 years, he was kind of supposed to do more.
Yeah,
but top 70 FedEx Cup
every year
since 2007, not bad. But I just was surprised because Jim Furyk, yeah, that makes sense. Although he's going to not be top 70 this year.
No.
So that streak ends. So Hunter Mahan, if he's top 70, is going to, move on. Phil Mickelson, not surprised. And Bubba Watson, not necessarily surprised. But I'm also surprised that there's not other guys.
You think the list would be a little longer.
Zach Johnson, for example.
Exactly.
He would have been my first guess.
Right. Yeah, there's quite a few that you would think that would be a little bit higher up the list and then be on this list.
So
he's an elite company now.
So Hunter Mahan, Jim Furyk, Phil Mickelson, Bubba Watson, that's your answer to this week's trivia question, and that about wraps up our time here together tonight on the Golf J podcast. Connect with us online. We're on Twitter at @TheGolfJ. We're on Instagram at @the_GolfJ. And you can search for Golf J on Facebook and find our Facebook page where you'll be able to follow Rhett's trip out west this coming week. So all the episodes and the best of the wide world of golf on the web can be found at golfj.com. We'll be back next Monday night. Or actually, you're going to be on vacation still.
I will be. I'll be coming back Tuesday morning, so maybe we'll have to either go solo or maybe do it Tuesday. We'll figure it out.
Or maybe I can get Doug Brown or the Bobcat Bob LaPrade or somebody up here. But check the.
We'll have parts of the Cricket Shirts interview to put in there too. So
absolutely. Yeah. So it'll be easy for me to host this next week by myself.
If anybody could do it, Jim, it's you.
So until then, my friends, hit 'em long, not often.
golfj.com